For today's video, I'm going to be using acrylic yarn, a 5mm, some scissors, and stitch markers. I'm using Red Heart yarn and also the Walmart brand of yarn just because I feel like this is a really close color match. I'm going to start off by making a magic ring, and to do that you're going to put your hand in an L shape, grab the yarn underneath, and you're going to make an X. After you see the X, you're going to flip over and you're going to see two lines. Then you're going to put your hook underneath, grab the top yarn and twist, and now you use pinch and pull. Now you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and you're going to make 12 double crochets inside of this loop. So you're going to yarn over, go inside the ring, grab the yarn, pull once and then twice, yarn over, go inside the loop, grab the yarn, pull once and twice, yarn over, go inside the loop, grab the yarn, pull once and then twice. I'm going to do this 9 more times and come back. After you finish your 12 double crochets, you're going to pull up a loop and we're going to close this off. So I'm just going to pull the yarn over here and flip it over, and then I'm going to make a knot, and now I'm going to go behind a loop over here and split the yarn in half. After you split the yarn in half, one part is going to go underneath and then the other one stays on top, and then you just tie it off. We're going to start row 2, and you can also find a written version of this pattern in the description. So I'm just going to go through the top of this first stitch and I'm going to slip stitch and then chain 2, 1 and 2. This one doesn't count as our first double crochet, so in the next stitch I'm going to add 2 double crochets in the same spot. So 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet. In the next spot I'm going to add 2 in the same spot, and in this row we're going to increase every single stitch. To start the third row, I'm going to slip stitch in the first double crochet and then chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to increase every other stitch. So in the first stitch I'm only going to make 1 double crochet, and then in the next stitch I'm going to add 2 in the same spot. And the first stitch, 1 double crochet, and the second stitch, 2 double crochets in the same spot. And you're going to repeat this for the rest of this row. For the fourth row, I'm going to slip stitch in the first double crochet, chain 2, 1 and 2, and you're going to increase every 2 stitches. So in the first 2 stitches, I'm just going to put 1 double crochet. In the third one, I'm going to add 2 in the same spot. I'm going to add 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then in the third one you're going to add 2 in the same spot, and you're going to repeat this for the rest of this row. For row 5, I'm going to slip stitch and I'm going to increase every 3 stitches. So in the first 3 stitches I'm going to make 1 double crochet, and on the 4th stitch I'm going to add 2 double crochets in the same spot. The next 3 stitches is just going to be 1 double crochet, and on the 4th stitch I'm just going to add 2 in the same spot, and you're going to repeat this for the rest of this row. Row 6 is our last increasing row, so after this it's just going to be regular rounds of double crochet. So I'm just going to slip stitch and chain 2, 1 and 2, and then the next 9 stitches I'm going to make 1 double crochet. After you complete your 9 stitches, on the 10th stitch you're going to add 2 double crochets in the same spot, and you're going to repeat this for the rest of this row where you make 9 double crochets and then an increase. And once I finish that, I'll come back. I just finished my first 6 rows, so from row 7 through 12 it's just going to be regular rounds of double crochets, and once I finish that I'll come back. My 12 rows are done, and now we're going to mark our face part, and I did 20 stitches in between and 10 stitches for the ear. Now I'm going to make one of the ear flaps first because you can't do the second one until you have the first one done. To start the ear flap, I'm just going to go where I put my stitch marker, and I'm going to bring my yarn forward and tie it up. After you've done that, you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then you're going to make 10 double crochets while also crocheting over this tail. And the way you do that, you just bring it forward and just crochet over it until you have your 10 double crochets. row 2 is pretty normal, so I'm just going to chain 2, flip my work, and I'm going to make 10 double crochets. For row 3 to 6, we're going to decrease in the beginning and the end of every row. So I'm just going to chain 2 and flip my work, and I'm going to make a double crochet, but I'm not going to fully finish it off because we're going to finish it off with the second double crochet. So I'm just going to yarn over, go inside the gap, pull once, and then pull twice. So now I'm going to make double crochets until I have 2 stitches left. Now that I have 2 stitches left, I'm going to decrease one more time. So I'm going to make a double crochet but not fully close it, and then start another one and then pull once and then twice. After that, you're going to chain 2, flip your work, and then decrease, make a double crochet, not fully close it, and then fully close it off in the second one. And then make enough double crochets until you have 2 double crochets left. And when you have 2 left, you decrease one more time. So I'm going to repeat this 2 more times and come back. Once you have your 6 rows, you're going to chain 1 and flip your work, and you're going to make 4 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to make a round of single crochets to smooth everything out. So to do that, I'm just going to make a slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, and make a single crochet, and that's how you start it off. If you're a beginner, I recommend putting a stitch marker, but since I've done this a couple times, I already know where it's going to be. So you're just going to make single crochets all around until you reach that end, and then I'll show you how to do the brim part. I just finished rounding it off, and I just crocheted over the loose tails. And to get rid of this one, I'm just going to go underneath any stitch, and then I'm going to split the yarn in half. One part is going to go underneath and the other one stays on top, and then you just tie it off and cut it. To make the brim, we're going to focus on making it as straight as possible. So you're going to avoid starting off in the corner, and you're only going to focus in the middle. So in this pot, I have 18 inches counting the stitch markers. You're going to put your hook where your stitch marker is, and you're going to bring your yarn forward and tie it off. After you tie it off, you're going to crochet over this tail, that way is hidden, and I'm also going to chain 1. So after you chain 1, we're going to make half double crochets only on the front loop, and the first stitch is kind of hard to do a front loop half double crochet, so I'm just going to go straight in and do 1 normally. The last stitch will also be a half double crochet with both loops instead of the front loop, but for the second one and the middle ones is going to be a front loop. You see how there's 2 loops in this stitch? You're only going to go to the one that's in the front. To make a half double crochet and go into the front loop, and then also crochet over the tail. Make a half double crochet, go into the front loop, and crochet over the tail. So I'm going to repeat this until I reach the end. I'm at the last stitch, so this half double crochet is going to be both. To start the second row, I'm going to chain 1 and flip my work, and we're going to make half double crochets like normal. Ended up making 7 rows. This is perfect for me, and to hide this tail off, I'm actually just going to put it in the back, and then I'm just going to go underneath a stitch and split the yarn in half. After you do that, one part is going to go underneath and the other one stays on top, and you just tie it off. You can leave it like this, or you can sew this to the hat, but personally I like that the brim is functional, and I can also like maneuver it and it works to my liking. This is the final result, and I absolutely love how Kyle's hat turned out because he's one of my favorite characters. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week.